Back to Bitcoin Bulls. We're going into part two of the theory of Bitcoin. A deep dive look into Michael Saylor and what he's brought about to the Bitcoin community, his insights, his engineering capability, his financial foresight, I would say, and yeah, very interesting to say the least. And it's a bit confusing, you have a lot of cryptocurrencies out there right now. Everybody's buying. Of course, Ethereum is doing real well, and it was up to $4,000 at one point. I bought it at 1,800 back, I don't know, 6 months ago or something, and it was went up to 4,000. Came down to back down to 1,900 today, probably around 2,000 bucks. And this is kind of how Saylor explains Bitcoin and other cryptos or cryptocurrency, because it can be confusing to say the least. Bitcoin is not a cryptocurrency, okay? It's not like a Tether or a Ripple or something like that, which is centralized and controlled, okay? Bitcoin is a decentralized store of value, just like gold, okay? I mean, that's what people don't get, because, here we are, 2009 to 2021, so we're looking at 12 years. 12 years Bitcoin has been around, and people are still putting out fear, uncertainty, and doubt that it's not going to work. Well, it's been working, okay? And yeah, I've been made mistakes along the way, and I've used Bitcoin to buy stuff. I've used, I bought and sold it, bought and sold it. I mean, I've got so many transactions, and if the government wants to go dig through all that stuff and try to figure out how much you made, I mean, it's almost impossible. I mean, I'll track that stuff in a spreadsheet the best I can, but I mean, it's really difficult if you're doing that much, and that's one of the mistakes I've probably made. I mean, I wouldn't be buying and selling and buying and selling. I mean, I have made money on watching technical charts, buying it during the dips, waiting for it to go up 5 or 10%, and selling it. It's called scalping. Yeah, I've made some good money scalping Bitcoin, but after watching him, it makes a heck of a lot more sense to buy it and hold it. Don't do anything with it, because it's like he says, he doesn't care if it goes to $5, $1, $20, $100,000. It doesn't matter. He's not going to touch it. He's not going to look at it. It's a store of value. Okay, it's the underlying pinning, the base of the digital monetary system, and that's what gold was for thousands of years. And a lot of people don't realize. I mean, well, I guess a lot don't. I was talking to a real nice, intelligent lady 6 months ago or so, and we were discussing Bitcoin and gold, and I was trying to explain it a little bit, and I was telling her about, they're printing all this money. It's just crazy. And she's like, well, it's backed by gold, so you don't have to worry. I said, Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1971. That's 40-something years ago. We haven't been, the dollar is not backed by gold. It's just printed piece of paper saying, here's your certificate for your gold. Well, go try to cash that in somewhere for some gold. See how far you get. All right. And I was a gold bug. I bought gold and back in the mid 2000s, or probably before. Of course, I'm a I can't even say the word, coin collector anyway. So I collect coins, and so I bought a lot of gold and a lot of silver and stuff. But it's sat at the same price forever. You know, I mean, I'd be 200 years old by the time, you know, they ever quit manipulating and suppressing the price of gold. And that's what they've done, is suppress the price of gold, because they don't want nobody buying it. You know, if it's going to go up and go up and go up, people are going to buy it and buy it and buy it. They don't want people to have it. So it's a useless cause as far as I'm concerned. It's like Saylor says, you know, what are you going to do? You got 1,000 pounds of gold. What are you going to do? You're going to ship it? You know, you're going to send it to somebody? How are you going to send it? I mean, it weighs so much and it costs so much. It's depleting the energy of the gold or of your economic ability because of the cost factor involved of transporting it. And if you're not transporting it, I mean, if you're transporting it yourself, well, somebody's going to walk up with a gun, shoot you in the head, and steal your gold. Okay? How are they going to walk up, put a gun to your head, and steal your Bitcoin? They're not. Because, you know, unless you want to give them the key, or, you know, they wouldn't know you had a key. They wouldn't know you had any Bitcoin. Now, they're going to dang well know you got 1,000 pounds of gold on you. So, yeah, I mean, it's just logical, pragmatic thinking that, you know, if there's something better, that's where you go. And that's exactly what Bitcoin is. And, you know, the fascinating thing about the whole craziness of it is Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, they, she, whatever is or was, created it, disappeared, has never been heard from or seen since, or never seen before. Anyway, got some video issues going on here, but yeah, so somebody creates this open source white paper explaining how it works, sets it up, tests it, lets it out into the cyberspace like a virus. And it's been going ever since. And there's nothing that can stop it. Until people shut up, everybody shuts off their computers, leaves them off, that's the way you kill it. And it's not going to happen. I mean, it'll put everybody out of business. You can't do it. So that's the dilemma facing the federal government, the world governments, any monetary system, political system, social system. It's what it's all facing. Look, everything is free. You can go onto YouTube. You can learn anything you want. You can get any education you want. You can go onto Spotify. You can get all the music you want. You can listen to any music you want. You can get music on YouTube. You can get books. You know, you can go on and get ebooks. You know, you can get them for free. You know, everything is free, 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 free. And I've noticed lately in the last 3-4 months how all the banks, gas stations, insurance companies, whatever, are barraging you with deals and, like, you know, save this much, sign up for this, sign up for that. They're trying to keep up because they're in bad shape. And, you know, if the money keeps devaluing at such a rapid pace, it's going to collapse. I mean, it's just a matter of time. So, you know, most people out there have a lot of, I guess, you know, plenty of money to get by, so they're not worried about it. But, you know, I'm thinking more in terms of my son, my daughter, grandkids, you know, for them to have a great life, free life, unencumbered by corruption, deceit, theft, cheating. I mean, all this stuff that's been going on for years that we just let people get away with. Anyway, so Michael has really given it a big push, and me being one that has been involved with it for so long, I appreciate that a lot. And I don't go around talking about it or bringing it up to people. You know, if they want to ask something about it or have a question about it or want to start talking about it, you know, I'm more than glad to engage that. But I'm not. It's kind of, well, he puts it, you know, it's like a religion. The people that are for it and with it are, you know, they're committed. It's a commitment. They're committed because they've researched it. They've looked at it. They know what it is. They know what the situation is. They know what the risks are. They know that, you know, what the lack of risk are. So that's the bottom line. I mean, you know, yeah, if you want to trade it and be a gambler type or whatever and trade it every few days or every few weeks or whatever, you can do that. But, you know, you can go to Vegas too and, you know, bet some money on red or black, and, you know, you might get lucky 50-50 on that. But that's more of a gambling thing when you're doing it like that. I mean, like I said, I've done scalps a lot and made some, you know, decent money scalping Bitcoin. But I agree with Michael because Bitcoin is limited to the amount that there ever be, which is 21 million Bitcoin and at least 4 billion, not billion, excuse me, million, yeah, billion, million, 4 million have been lost or plundered or pillaged or basically lost. I mean, one guy threw away a hard drive that went bad. It's worth like $80 million right now. And he couldn't, his hard drive went out and his key was stored on there. I mean, it's not funny. I mean, that's $80 million hard drive in the landfill somewhere. So I guess there's people out there still looking for it. I don't know. That was a long time ago. But anyway, so anyway, I do have a little clip from the interview he did just 2 days ago. So let's take a quick look.
I would love to get your response to, I've seen Fed officials sort of in the last few months have called the high inflation numbers that we've seen over the last few months, they've called it transitory, or they're inferring that it will be in any way short-lived. What's sort of your response to that? And do you think it's irresponsible to be making comments like that? Or how do you respond to those, that sort of notion?
I think inflation is a vector, and so it's not one number. It's not a scalar, and you can't use arithmetic. If you want to be simplistic, you say inflation is CPI or PCE, and it's one number, and we were targeting 2%, and now it's 4 or 5. But that's not the way I think it is. I think it's an n-dimensional vector. So, for example, I think the inflation rate in single-family homes in the U.S. is 25%. I think inflation rate in equity was 38%. The S&P 500 index is up 38%. The cost of buying a share of stock in a company is 38% higher. So if you look at asset inflation, Bitcoin's up 270%. NASDAQ is up 40-something%. There's no inflation in gold. That's flat. Real estate's up 20% or more. You know, you can find a market basket of things called CPI that are only up 5%, and you can say that's transitory. It's irrelevant whether it's transitory or not. If I keep track of a list of things that you don't want to buy, and I tell you that the price hasn't gone up, what does it matter whether the price went up or not? The question is, what do you want to buy, and what price is it going up? And I think the price is going up at a different rate every month in every different place in the world and every different cohort for 1,000 different products, services, and assets. And, you know, that if you understand that, then like the best surrogate for an investor is the monetary inflation rate. And the monetary inflation rate is somewhere between the M2 money supply expansion and the S&P index. Take the S&P index, 38%, it's up, and then subtract 3% risk premium, and you could say there's a 35% risk-free hurdle rate. That was the rate at which the currency devalued, right? The dollar weakened by enough to drive the stock indexes up by 38% this year instead of 10%, which is the average over 100 years. So you know, and it was when it was going up 10% a year, it was inflating at 7%. I think the money supply expands at 7%. You tack on a 3% risk premium, that gets you 10%. That's normal. And we're like triple normal, depending upon, what your reference point is, and if you're taking monthly averages or quarterly averages or daily averages.
Yeah, exactly. Very brilliant insight into Bitcoin. A lot of people, most people I know, they get up, go to work, pay their bills, come home, take care of us, take care of that. They don't know anything about CPI. They don't know anything about inflation or, some of this stuff. They just don't care, okay? And that's always the point I tried to get across to several people that I was involved with through the years. Is like, don't you care about your kids, your grandkids, their future? I mean, if it comes to monetary issues or political issues or whatever, they don't seem to care. It's just like, okay, fine, whatever it is, I can't do nothing about it. Well, you can't have that attitude. You've got to take some interest. That's just my opinion. I mean, I've always been into these kind of things. I mean, I live on the edge. I like to think outside the box. I like to do things differently. I mean, I've had houses. I've had up to 8 houses at one time. Yeah, that was great. Great tax benefits, Of course, I bought it the wrong time because who knew there was going to be a subprime issue going on in 2008. But regardless, I got tired of dealing with the collecting money and doing all that stuff. So it just, I left that behind and just continued to work in the IT field, as a system administrator, and got to work at NASA for a year, but had to resign that job for other reasons. And anyway, so I've just held on to my Bitcoin. But anyway, I kind of wanted to explain, I guess, the cryptocurrency thing and how Bitcoin is the base layer. So you got things like Ethereum, Cardano, a lot of the more popular cryptocurrencies out there. They're build-ons. Like, for example, say if you, like Saylor would point out, if you bought a block of land in New York, okay, well, you own the block of land. That's your foundation, your base. It's going to be there for 1,000 years or more, 10,000 years. Who knows? That block of land is going to be there. So on top of that block of land, somebody comes along, puts a foundation, puts a building on top of it. That would be Ethereum. Ethereum is built on top of the Bitcoin network. Okay? Bitcoin is the base layer, the monetary layer. And that's why he's not ever selling it, because it is the base layer. It's not going to be moved. Just like the block in New York City, it's going to be there for 1,000 years. He expects Bitcoin to be there at least 10 years, if not 100 years or 500 years. Just because of the way it was constructed. And anyway, so Ethereum is more of built on top, right on top of the Bitcoin foundation. So that would be your platform, I guess. Yeah, be your platform, like Ethereum and some of the others, VeChain or Chainlink, I guess. And after that, you have applications, all the other little cryptos that run off of Ethereum. So you have, your foundation, your platform, Ethereum, and your applications, all the other cryptos out there. So really what you're looking at is you want something that is decentralized, can't be destroyed. I mean, if Ethereum and all the other cryptos were somehow like taken down or whatever, or something happened, the Bitcoin base layer would still be there. It would still be in cyberspace. It's protected by the hash, not the hash, but the, what do they call it, the NAS 256 encryption. Well, what happens if they break the 256 NAS encryption or whatever they called it? Well, you go to 512. It's just like, being in the IT world, I know this very well. I mean, you go from 256 to 512 to 1024 to 2048. You keep extending the encryption out, and the miners and all the people involved in the Bitcoin community, that's what they're doing. No one will be able to get into and mess with it. I mean, you can anyway. But the only way you can mess with it is shut it down. Okay, so it's not going anywhere. So it really doesn't matter what it's worth today. 10,000, 8,000, 20,000, 100,000. And it very well could do that. It could go up to 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. Who knows? And it may not, but it doesn't really matter because it is the base layer of the future of economics. And even if it's only worth, goes down to $10,000, if you still own that, you'll be able to go to a bank or some kind of a lender, and you'll be able to take out a kind of like a Heloc, a line of credit on your Bitcoin because it's so valuable. So, to get people to start thinking in these terms is extremely difficult. And like I said, I don't go around, trying to convert people over. I think it's a community effort, and that's all I'm trying to do. I mean, I don't make videos, and I'm not promoting Phoenix and Blockify or Coinbase or any of this stuff because I don't really care. That's not the goal here. The goal here is try to educate people on what it is, why it's important, and it's not important just because you can make some money and retire, which is fabulous, and I hope I can do that. I mean, I am retired, semi-retired, but I hope we get to that point where more people realize how much this is going to change things. It's just like the phone did, just like the book he wrote in 2010, Mobile Wave. He saw that 10 years ahead of time, and look where we are now. And look how fast it's accelerating. As it accelerates faster, the price is it's gonna become more scarce, it's gonna become more valuable. I don't know what else you need to say. Anyway, that's the end of part 2 of the theory of Bitcoin. Deep dive into Michael Saylor, and I haven't found anything to contradict anything he's saying. So, and I do my research pretty thorough before I even broadcast it out. Anyway, I appreciate you joining, and anybody that's interested, if there's anything I can convey or try to explain about it, I would be happy to do it. Like I said, I've been researching it since 2014, so that's 8 years I've been researching it, so that's a long time. Anyway, y'all have a great, hey, it's my birthday, so don't forget, July 16th. Alright, I'll see you on part 3 of the Saylor Deep Dive, the theory of Bitcoin. God bless.